Alright, well the following is going to be a video of how to use AZ Bidder with Northwest MLS to enter information from Northwest MLS and Realist basically into the AZ Bidder or heat and data and foreclosure website, same animal. So basically what we're going to do is just kind of go over the stuff that we need to have put in there every week. I'll kind of show you this page to begin with. So this is the main AZ Bidder page, and the screencast could probably go a little further on this, and a little further on this. Maybe not. Okay, so that's what we got. So anyway, basically, you just want to make sure that once you log in the AZ Bidder website, you go down to auction list, go down to power search, click it. It'll bring you to this page. Sign on. You should already have a sign on for this. If not, that's a different issue, but you should have a sign on for that. So we're going to auction list, power search, and then to start this off, the auction date is always going to be on a Friday unless notified otherwise. So, and then you actually have to hit refresh afterwards. So we're just looking at the stuff that's going this Friday, basically. Refresh. Okay, it's loading apparently, so we'll just wait that load for a second. And there we go. And for now, we're basically focused on King and Snohomish County. We can do Pierce County later, but for right now, we're just focused on King and Pierce County. So I'll just kind of run down the list and show you what that looks like real quick. I'm going to try to keep in mind that this is a 15-minute recording only for this. So I will try to have everything done in 15 minutes and then move on to another one. So basically, I sort by spread first. That's just kind of the typical way to do it. The spread is this number divided by this number. So obviously on this one, the mortgage is quite low and the estimated value is quite high. So I don't know how I got this number. Okay, well this is this divided by this, so that equals 366%. So that's probably a good deal. The address is unknown, so we're not going to worry about this one to start with. This next one is in Tukwila. You can see I've already looked at this one. We've already ordered title on it. It's already on the watch list. So it's already got a thumbs up. So all good things. We've already looked at this one, but I'll just kind of show you what that looks like in the box real quick. So basically, you're going to look at this. This is the pertinent information on the house, 1988, 1670 square feet. We're going to click on notes, and this is kind of be the main section you're working in here. We're going to scroll down a little bit and see that opening bid is 97.5. That doesn't mean a whole lot to us, but that's what it is. So this was an old one that I underwrote back in October 13 of 2015. So a lot of times you'll find that these properties come on the market and go off the market, and that's just kind of the way it is for the foreclosure section. But we'll look at this one. Basically what we're going to do, and this is why I said it's usually a good idea to have two screens. I used to underwrite a different way, and now I underwrite this way. So you'll see these notes in here that are basically, that's an MLS number. That means it's sold on this date. So we have a different way of doing this now. Our market's moving so fast that we need to underwrite these pretty much every couple of weeks if they come back on the market and if they go back on, because it's the prices are going up, and that's just the way it goes. But not you to worry about that. That's my gig. So this is the property. We're going to go to Northwest MLS. So Northwest MLS, we're going to hit Matrix on this, and you should have logins for that as well. And then we're going to go to Realist. Realist is basically CoreLogic. They have pretty much all the information you could possibly want on every home in the United States. They're kind of the data specialists when it comes to homes. So we're going to scoot this screen over a little bit. We're going to hit in this address. All I did was copy that address from AZ Bidder, and I'm going to paste it in there, and I'm going to hit search. And so here we go. We got a little picture of the house. We can see that is going up for auction. You'll usually see this here if the property is going up for auction. 1670 square feet. Again, it's a good reason why it has this in here. So 1670 square feet, that's actually accurate, which is rare. But I'll show you that in a second. So basically, just scroll down here. And the first bit of information we're going to take from here is going to be this final judgment amount. This is very important. This is the number that the bank and trustees have decided is a fair amount for the house to be sold at auction. So that $91,000 may or may not be accurate. That's Really doesn't matter, but all we want to know is this final judgment route. So we take this final judgment route. We can copy and paste this if we want to, or just remember it in your head, and go back here and go final judgment. Sorry, final judgment is one. Let's go 191,810. So that's going to be the amount. You should be able to save this public or private. For most of the things we're going to talk about here, you're going to want to save these as public. So this means that all of our clients, when they go and look at the HD foreclosure site, are going to be able to see this information. So we have several clients that look at this and they just want to know this information really quickly. The other people in my office that are looking at this want to have this information very quickly instead of going through the process and kind of doing what we're doing right here. They just want to know it, look at it, and go, okay, that's what it is. This is good. Okay, so the square footage. This is the next thing we're going to look at. The square footage, typically wrong. This one, it's not, but it just so happens that it usually is, but that's okay. So square footage. Okay, so we're looking at this. And if you don't know what the square footage is, it's fine. If you can't figure it out by looking at it, that's fine. Just copy and paste this whole thing. So, if the total living square feet is something different, that says 1670, what you'll see is an above ground and a below ground. This one is ground square footage is 1,000. Second floor is 670. And so this one's going to be 1670. And it'll get trickier sometimes if there's a basement. Sometimes there's an unfinished basement portion and a finished basement portion. Basically, we just want to know what is possible in that house. If there's unfinished basement, whatever that case may be, we want to know that because that's information we can use to increase our value. Say this is 1,670 square feet, but say there's 900 square feet of unfinished basement. That's a 2,500 square foot house. That's a big difference in value. So basically, we're just going to take this information. This is right, so we don't have to touch this one. When we get into it later, I'll show you one that isn't. But this is 1,670 square feet. That's great. Sometimes you're going to see these numbers differ from what's on our website here in AZ Bidder. 3.2. Sometimes we'll just round this bath up. That's fine. It doesn't matter that much. As long as we know there's a couple baths in there, that's great. So yeah, the next thing we're going to look at here, normally we would write this square footage in here. We kind of want to go with of living. If there's unfinished basement, we want to know that for sure. Sometimes the garage is added to that. It's kind of a tricky process. I'll kind of explain this more a little bit later, but for right now, I'm just kind of going over the basic overview of what this looks like. Canceled. So this property was on the market. The list date was October 17th, 2014, and it canceled, meaning it went off the market for whatever reason, August 31st, 2015. So we can click this and go right to the listing. So this one looks like it canceled. Great. And if I click on that number, that's going to be the MLS number. It'll take me right to that property, and we can kind of see what happened with it. So there's 7 pictures. That's great. We want these pictures. We can actually take this link and put this right in our website. We have to send it to our email, but we can take this link and put it right in our website, which is great. That way everyone can kind of see the pictures and what they're looking at, and just kind of have an idea of what the property is going to cost to fix. This was a pretty recent one, so that's great. We do them. I think they have pictures up to like 4 or 5 years, but this one's on there for. This has like 7 pictures. We should definitely put these in the website. So basically what I do on this, is take this and send it in an email to myself, basically. I have an email that I set up just for this. Sometimes you'll see there's not enough pictures in here. Maybe there's 7 pictures. Maybe the next one has 15. So you want to click on this and keep in mind that the date, this was the last one that came up. This will be the next last one that came up. We click on this. That number 2 right there, and that'll take us to 2004. So there's no pictures, 2004. We don't want to send that one. Sometimes it'll give us some information as far as, the roof being finished or something to that, or totally remodeled, or, something to that studs off remodel, something like that. If that information is in there, we definitely want that. But if not, then the safe bet is just to go with the one with the pictures. So we're going to hit that button in there. That's going to make it send us to us. We're going to hit this email down here, which is basically going to send ourselves an email. And I'll show you where this email is and where you can access it. a little bit later. But for right now, the email is called comps. Comps stands for comparable sales. And then what I do is I write subject because it's the subject property that we're looking at. And then I already have the date copied in there, so I just paste it in there. That's 15408 55th Avenue, Tukwila. So hit send. That's going to go to my email, and I have, like I said, I have a special email set up just for this. And then I'm going to scroll to the top, and I'm going to wait for that email to populate. There it is. So there's the email. Just click on that, copy, and then I want to go back. And now you can see again why I said it's a good idea to have multiple screens. Subject, paste. Okay, and then I just hit it as a public note and hit save note. Boom. And there it is. See, it shows up, and then we can go back to this link and click on it, and that way our clients can look at the property. They know it's in there. They can look through the pictures. The only problem is this link does die in 3 months, but that's okay. There's nothing we can do about that. That's just the way it is. But so this one's pretty much done for the most part. You go down here and you go back to the notes section again. You look in there. It's got the final judgment 191,810. It's got a subject link. Great. Let's say it had a different square footage, whatever that case may be. You would write total square footage, and I'll go through a different one later. This is just kind of the quick overview of everything. So total square footage, whatever that is. Say it's 1610 for this one. You want to write 1610 and then write the SQFT afterwards. That's our abbreviation for square footage. So yeah, that's the gist of it. We can dig in later and kind of see what that looks like. Again, you always want to hit this as public and then save this note, and so that just saves in there. If you mess up, no big deal. You can erase that note. Done. Just like that. So, and this is actually the comp section. This is the part that I do with the property, and these are MLS numbers, like I said before. And so I'll be doing another search on there, looking for comparable sales, and then doing basically the same thing. I'll email it to myself. It'll say comps, and then you'll see, and I'll email it to myself, and I'll put in that link, and it'll say link with an underline on it, and then you just click and look at the comparable sales for that property. So that's it for this screencast as far as